Matilda, Raynolds, it's almost the end. This is the final episode of the Road to the World Tour podcast, the Hertz ProVelo Super League. I can't believe it's all over for another year.
Oh, Matt, it's absolutely flown. Like, it feels like one of those recovery intervals you do on Zwift. Time just disappeared. And we were looking down the barrel of 5 weeks in a row there as well. And it just has evaporated so quickly. But it's been on. I've loved that we haven't had to wait. Every weekend it has been on, and the ride has been travelling across the country, giving us such entertainment.
On the SBS Womens League, it was taken out by Sophia Sammons. Sophie Edwards was in second position. Alyssa Pilates was in third. For the Let's Go Motorhome men, it was Ollie Bleddyn ahead of his teammate, Levi Hone, and then Ollie Sims with a brilliant win at the Q Tour. He's moved up in a third position. We've done a lot of talking, backwards and forwards. I reckon in this episode, we need to talk to the winners. Let's cut to the chase.
Yeah, I really want to get behind the scenes and ask those questions from some of those winners as well to really understand how the hell they got there.
Phils, it was anything but smooth sailing in the women. Sophia Sammons came out on top. She did more kilometres than anybody else, whether it be trains, planes, automobiles or bikes. Let's have a chat with her now. Sophia, the winner of the SBS Womens League and the Hertz ProVelo Super League. First up, Sophia, have you got any idea how many kilometres you did in travel racing training throughout this league?
No, not a clue.
It was a lot. Tills,
Yeah.
We kept talking about her going back and forth to Perth, the crashes, the trip in the ambulance. You had a lot of Ks to cover.
Yeah, I was a bit worried about you, Soph, like adding so much pressure to yourself and going back and forth. But I think it does play into your favour, because when the overseas teams are looking at bringing someone across from Australia, they want to see that you have you can face adversity and that you're willing to travel quite a lot. And essentially, they may not realise that it almost feels like an international flight every time that you're going from west to east. So you've already shown that, which is a huge bonus. But one thing I'm curious, Soph, what were your tactics around trying to manage the travel whilst managing training, whilst being fresh enough to race? Did they change throughout the 3 months of ProVelo?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of good. I feel like you guys have always joked, but I'm on Melbourne time at all times. So the jet lag doesn't affect me too much with the early wake-ups in Perth. But yeah, I think it was just a good support crew around me, having people to pick me up from the airport. I get home and then pretty much resume normal life in Perth, and then heading back on a Thursday or a Friday, and Andrew booking the best flights for me, so I get there already having done a ride in the morning. So yeah, it was pretty seamless, which was good.
I think all the Australian cycling community has been on board with you keeping Melbourne hours whilst in Perth. What time do you go to bed and what time do you get up?
I usually try to aim for around 8 and then wake up anywhere from 3 to 4.
God, you are a party, but that shows just your commitment to it. So one thing I do love, so that you've been really outspoken around wanting to be a professional athlete. How has that been for you? Like, what are you looking at? What is the goal? Are you looking at teams, or what's the focus and the drive there, I think, to sort of take the next step?
Yeah, definitely. I think a big one for me is just getting a lot of experience in. So heading over to Europe, racing there, just soaking it all up and, working on those things that I'm not as good at. So yeah, and just hoping to get noticed is the main thing.
So where do you go next? You're off to Europe? Where are you racing?
Yeah.
Who are you riding for?
Off to Spain, and just racing with the club team over there. But I'm looking forward to it.
And you speak Spanish?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us a bit about your background. I find it intriguing.
Yeah, so my mom's from Ecuador, and she speaks to me in Spanish, but my dad's from the UK. So my Spanish isn't so good, but yeah, it's there. But yeah.
You're going to be well ahead of most of the other Aussies. And
Yeah.
were you born in the Dominican Republic?
Yep, that's right.
And then raised in Perth?
Yeah, so my parents lived in the Bahamas and the Dominican Republic when I was born, and then I think when I was 6 months old, I went to Australia, and yeah, this is all I've known pretty much.
Jeez, the United Nations in one package.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Do you know what races, you got any idea what program you've got in Europe this season?
Not yet. A lot of like the local Spanish Cup races, some UCI races. I just want to do as many UCI races as possible, though. That's the main one.
Yeah, I want to touch on some of the challenges you had throughout the league. It got off to a reasonably good start, but then the stage of Poatina in Tasmania, the crash, I thought maybe that might have been the end of you being able to participate in the ProVelo Super League, but you bounced back pretty quickly. What were your thoughts when you were in Tassie?
Yeah, I mean, definitely when I was on the ground and I was feeling pretty ill, I was like, oh, nah, this is me gone for the next 2 weeks. But yeah, I was thankful that it was a pretty okay crash and I bounced back from it really quickly and I had the team support as well. But yeah, I was really bummed that we didn't get to go at Poatina. It was the main one. I was really looking forward to it, but yeah, bounced back quickly, which was good.
Yeah. And then on Sunday at the Q Tour, it was anything but a smooth finish. Take us through the last lap that we thought there was the second last lap and what was going through your mind and what instruction you were getting.
Yeah, I mean, that last lap or the lap before it was the Queen of the Mountain and the sprint lap. So I wanted to get the points there and then just sit back up and get the tow back round the course. But yeah, I mean, I was pretty nervous on the bike. I thought I had a mechanical at one point. I thought I had a flat, which I actually didn't, but I still stopped anyways. But yeah, it was really slippy. It was pretty sketchy around the back there, and I think we were all being super cautious, which was good. And then yeah, just getting up the climb, and I wanted to make a gap there definitely on the first part of the climb. And the girls really blocked me in. They did a good job. Couldn't really get away. But yeah, managed to make that split on the second half of the climb. And by that point, I'd been told, you know, this is the last lap. You know, racing for the win now. And I was really glad I did have that gap. I'm not sure I could have done it if I hadn't. And yeah, just basically, yeah, head down and drove it to the finish line.
Yeah, until she had some tough competition. Butterfields were doing a great job, and Sophie Edwards was hard to beat.
Yeah, and I think the toughest component was the course. So if we saw some of that footage around the back end that we weren't able to show on the TV, we'll show here, of just the slip and sliding, and that you could almost, you're on an ice rink, it looked like at times. But so I'm interested in last year you were a part of the Praties team, the current Red Cat team, how you went from being a part of that team. Obviously you had two riders who have already went on to Liverlula Jaco and the development team. What was the big change that you made to be in this year, putting yourself in the best position possible to win GC, having previously been more of a domestique?
Yeah, I guess last year was a lot about learning. And I mean, I really took every opportunity to learn. You learn so much from Andrew, I'm sure you know, but like he really is the best. And yeah, just soaking it all up and then translating those learnings into this year and definitely taking that step forward and having the team's confidence and their backing was really important, and they backed me all the way and I'm so grateful for that. So yeah, definitely.
The team's got an amazing track record of delivering athletes up to the next level. I'm interested in your view on some of the other riders that you're up against. One rider that caught my attention from the under-19s was Niamh Parslow. What were your impressions of the way she's ridden throughout the league?
Oh, mate, I've just been so impressed with her, honestly. Yeah, I mean, she is really talented, obviously, and she works really hard for it. But yeah, definitely a really humble rider as well. Yeah, she's great. And even just riding with her and chatting with her in the Q tour, it was good just to chat with her. And, you know, I'm excited to see where she goes. I reckon she's got a really bright future ahead of her.
Yeah, we're on board. Get on the bandwagon because we're on board as well, aren't we, Matilda?
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. I can't stop thinking about your Spanish and that, you know, I'm excited that when you go to those races, make sure you go up to, you know, Movie Star, and there's a number of like pro level teams as well, and drop a bit of Spanish, but also with your hours, you couldn't be less Spanish when it comes to. I think the Spanish get up at 11. They race at 3 p.m. and then they have dinner at 11 p.m. So potentially you can keep your WA hours going whilst you're over there as well. Just
Sophia's getting up when they're going to bed.
Yeah. That would be a very different lifestyle change for you, but I'm excited for you.
Sophia,
Yeah.
if it's all about trying to make it to that next level, get to the World Tour. So if you've got an opportunity to talk to one of the teams and you were able to make a 30-second pitch, this is the type of athlete I am, this is what I can bring to your team, what would it be?
Oh, hell, put me on the spot. I'd kind of probably say, I'm a time trialist. I love riding my bike and, I love learning and I just want to soak it all up. And I really want to get to the next level and I really want to make a difference in a team. So, yeah.
Well, I think, can I help you with the pitch?
Yeah. Please.
Okay. All right. I'm Sophia Sammons. I'm from Australia and I speak Spanish. I can integrate into any culture. I can fit on the time zone wherever that may be. I won the Australian Under-23 individual time trial title, which would have had me on a podium in the elites. I can ride on the front and help your team win. I'm also a really good climber. I've shown last year that I'm a great team player. I helped Sophia Ma win the Hertz ProVelo Super League whilst I was trying to get there myself. I dealt with the pressure of being the leader and I managed to win the #1 league of racing in Australia, and I can add real value to your team. Where do we sign?
That was really good. Damn.
Well, lucky this is recorded, Soph, so you can take that and make it your own.
Yeah. Oh, I will definitely. Thank you.
All right, one last one before we let you go. How does it feel to be the winner of the Hertz ProVelo Super League?
Yeah, it feels amazing. And I'm so glad that I had the team around me that I did, and that they backed me all the way, and that I could share it with them. But like my dad said, yeah, you're only as good as your last race. So just keep on looking forward.
And you won that one. Congratulations and good luck with the season ahead. We're going to be watching.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Matilda, once again, in the men's, it was a battle amongst the riders from Team Brennan, yet they seemed to work well together. Levi Hone in second position. Olympic gold medalist Ollie Bleddyn went out the winner.
Yeah, perfect person to, I think, have on your team. And I just loved as well that Ollie has shown just how good he is individually, but throughout the season, even at nationals, showed just how willing he is to put, his own results on the line. And I think just what he did in the last Q Tour on that stage, being so aware what he had to do to try to elevate Levi Hone to make sure that he held on to that second position.
Let's bring him in. If it was Brownlow medal votes at the national championships, it'd be Team Brennan, Bleddyn, 2 votes. Pat Eddy got the 3 votes that day. Ollie, congratulations on the win at the ProVelo Super League.
Thank you, mate. That was great.
I want to go back before that and the national championships. Your ride at the national championships to help Pat Eddy win, where does that rate among your performances on the road?
Yeah, no, it was a really good day. We had me and Tristan up the road, and he was looking after me all day. Poor guy, I don't think took an ice sock for himself all day in 40-degree heat. And then, yeah, it just came back together. And to be honest, I think we thought that breakaway was going to stay away that whole day. But obviously came back, and Pat said he was feeling good. So, yeah, we just backed him in all the way and just gave him what I could. And he finished it off.
I do want to ask one more question on it before we move on to the PSL. The aftermath with the amount of coverage, the criticism of the Jaco Alula team, do you believe that undersold the performance of Team Brennan?
Yeah, I think, there was a lot of focus on that, which is a bit of a shame because, again, it was a great team ride from not just myself and Pat, but also, Tristan, Connor, all the boys in that race. That it was a really great team ride. But yeah, I guess there's a lot of videos going around of it. But I guess it is what it is. Can't really control it.
It was entertaining. Tills, as you touched on before, one of the things that I saw from you at the Q Tour, at the end, did you hit the brakes to make sure that Levi got second at the end to get the points to lock in the under-23 jersey?
Yeah, we wanted to make sure the gap wasn't too big between him and Ollie Sims for the under-23, so just let him out, open up on the inside, and he just came underneath, which was good.
Loved it. Tills, completely selfless whilst winning the league.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to get your perspective, Ollie, on the league this year, things that surprised you, or I think just your expectation and perspective on the level that the league went to, because this year was a little bit different where we had obviously Team Brennan and more Butterfields on your own last year, and those 2 teams were the main characters, where it seemed like this year there were just so many different riders from so many different teams having good performances. How was the level, and was it at your expectation throughout the season?
Yeah, for sure. I think the level was a lot higher this year. I only raced the Warnie and Tasmania last year, so I didn't get to do the full series. But the level was a lot higher than I think everyone anticipated, and just shows, I guess, everyone built off last year's series and coming into the second round of the ProVelo. The level was just so high. Super strong teams from all around over east, from Perth as well, and really good. Just elevates everybody to just keep getting stronger and racing better and better. And that was a good surprise. Bit of a challenge coming off last year. We were pretty dominant, I would say, and coming to this year, I guess we kind of wanted to carry that momentum, and it was definitely a challenge to try and keep that kind of that winning going. And I guess it's really good though. It's great for everybody to just keep pushing each other.
I thought the depth really improved. There were more teams that could really participate and impact on the racing. Which riders or teams impressed you throughout it?
I think Falcons from WA, they were really good. And then also Cobra 9, they were also really good. Honestly, all the teams, like every race, there's always somebody doing something from a team. And it's really, really good to see. Just makes the racing really hard and really worthwhile. And so, it was great. But I think the Falcons guys starting up, kind of doing it on their own is really impressive, and good on them. And also Cobra 9, Queensland.
Yeah. And what's going on in Perth? Sophia Sammons wins the women's, you win the men's, and Connor Wright was the standout under 19. All WA.
Yeah, it's really great to see. I think it went through a pretty tough time during COVID with all the lockdowns and it being just, so far away. And I think this ProVelo is really just a great opportunity for everyone to integrate and get to race together, and for everyone from WA to come over and show themselves. So, it's really, really great to see that it's back thriving.
Road to the World Tour. Sorry, Tills. Road to the World Tour. What's next for you? Because obviously you've done all there is to do on the track. I assume you've still got some ambitions there. But what are your ambitions on the road?
Short term is the Road Oceanas, the time trial on April 9. And then I'll have a quick reset before heading off to Europe with the Brennan guys. I think we've got like a bit of a 2-3 month stint, May, June, July. And then I will do the Com Games. Well, hopefully. That's a big goal of mine in Glasgow on the track. And that's, hopefully something pops up on the road, an opportunity to kind of show I'm ready to take that next step. And, hopefully something comes along my way. But, we'll see.
Ollie, I think all of the chat, I think locally and, when I've been speaking to other people in the ProVelo, you are absolutely ready to take that next step. I think what I loved this year is how you showed so much breadth in your ability. Second at the elites, time trials, incredible. And then how well you climbed throughout the ProVelo. Have you spoken much to like Kell O'Brien, Sam Welsford, who were obviously your teammates winning that gold medal and have been able to really successfully take that next step into the World Tour? Are you getting much advice or support in how to do that? Because it does seem like it is so much harder at times for the Aussies to take that next step.
Yeah, it's pretty hard being an Aussie, I think, trying to break into that European scene. But, I'm pretty lucky. I've got a bunch of great guys in my corner that I can bounce ideas off and have those chats with. Sam and Kel, great mates, and, they've had great success. And so, it's really awesome to have them in my corner, and I can just, if there's ever a question, they're always there to give a helping hand, which is, it's really, really great.
What could you see your role on a World Tour team as? If you were making that pitch to a World Tour team, sign Ollie Bleddyn, why?
I'm not 100% sure yet, to be honest, what my absolute niche is. I've really put a lot of effort and time into climbing, I think, since Paris, and just the road volume in general. I really do enjoy climbing, I think, and obviously time trialing. So I think maybe, there's a chance there for some smaller GC races and something like that. And, one day hopefully to be like a good climbing support. But I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm pretty open. I enjoy climbing, time trialing. I love being a part of a team, and I love winning as part of a team. That's something I just always loved from the track and the road. So to be a part of a team that's got a great environment is something I'd love to do.
The one thing you're never going to be accused of is having a massive ego and pumping up your own tyres. For somebody that's achieved so much, that is the most humble sell I've ever heard, Ollie.
Oh, I don't know. There's always good bike riders, isn't there? Just try and do my best and keep developing. I know I've got a long way to go. I do think I've come quite far, though, since turning my attention to the road. And, full gas from Paris on the road. And I think it's really satisfying to see that development on the road. It's really cool to see. I feel like it's quite tangible, especially in training and racing. And I think with climbing, that's something I really enjoy about that. I really enjoyed Paulatina. It was quite a challenge for myself to show, can I climb for 30 minutes? And I actually felt really good. I was a bit gutted I didn't actually have a bit more of a crack and race a bit more aggressively. I think I was a bit worried about, defending the jersey. But I think it was a really, really great great way to show that I can climb, of those longest distances and not just the 5-10 minute punchy stuff.
Yeah. What's on your program in Europe? Do you know yet?
I think early on it's a lot of one-day races in Belgium and the Netherlands. And then I think in the back end, a bit more tours in France and Austria, which I'm quite excited for.
Take us behind, Ollie, just quickly, the mastermind that is Tim Decker. He was obviously the mastermind of your gold medal, and then, of course, your DS here at the Hertz ProVelo Super League. Your relationship with him, is it hard love? Is it hugs all around? Does he rip shreds off you? What's he like?
Oh, no, Tim's awesome to have in our corner. He's so special to have. A lot of mind games with Tim. It's a lot of it's all mental for Timmy, which is really cool. And just, I don't even know. I've never met someone that loves bikes and loves it all as much as Tim, the process and the challenges. And he's really great to bounce ideas off. I talk to him pretty much every day, and, he's a huge factor of why myself and the team's had so much success. And, super grateful, myself and the whole team are, just to be able to have staff like Tim, Graham Moffat as well, and our great sponsors like Dave Stevens. Yeah, it's just really great to have.
Ollie, congratulations on the win. Good luck with juggling the track and the road for the rest of the season. And Matilda and I are looking forward to commentating on you next year in the World Tour on the road.
Yeah,
fingers crossed.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well done, mate.
Absolutely.
Congrats. The brainchild behind it all, Matilda, is Matt Wilson, former Australian road champion. He's ridden the Tour de France. He's seen cycling from in the team car at Paris-Roubaix with Matt Hayman to putting the races on. Let's bring him in, the man behind the Hertz ProVelo Super League. Matt, congratulations on a successful second league.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Tills. Yeah, can't say I'm not excited to see the end of it. It's been a really and the 5 weekends back to back were pretty brutal on the body, but yeah, very, very happy with how things went.
That's all right. Sleep can wait till April. From a racing perspective, taking all the logistical elements out of it, just watching the racing, what were some of your highlights?
Look, I think we're really seeing, obviously there's 5 new teams that have started this year, and that hasn't, diluted the talent at all. We've seen more winners across more teams throughout the season. While Brennan on the men's side was dominant in terms of the league winners, they certainly weren't dominant stage to stage, and we saw a lot of different winners, which was really awesome to see. On the women's side was a really close battle there between Butterfields and Red Cat. Obviously, Red Cat came up on top, but Sophia, as good as she wasn't dominating every race. So, having that depth was pretty exciting, and to see some of these young riders step up, these under-19s like Connor Wright. If he had done the full season, probably would have won it overall as an under-19. So he's a fantastic talent. Would have been very very interesting and season if he had stayed. And then you've got young Nev Parslow with my team on the women's side, who's climbing with Sophia, which is pretty exciting.
Matt, take us behind the curtain a little bit. You just could not catch a break with the weather. It was like the fire, rain, the land of Australia really delivered. Just how difficult was that, and particularly to move the weekend of the Power Core Melbourne to Warrnambool, the biggest monument, an entire new event in just a few weeks' time from when it was meant to be, enormous.
Yeah, it was every race really. I mean, so SA Kick-It, straight away we had the fire danger. We had to move that stage last minute, which luckily we could get Vic Park, and we got that across the line. Then it was the bushfires in Melbourne and Warrnambool, and I can't take credit for the work that went into changing that date. Most of the work came from Karen Jones, her team, and the Melbourne and Warrnambool committee, the police, emergency services. you just don't know. Most people don't understand the amount of stakeholders that are involved in these events, and everybody needs to tick something off. Everyone needs to agree to it, and one person doesn't agree, and it's back to the drawing board. So there's just so many hours that go into it, and getting that changed it was a win for everyone that we didn't have to cancel. Then we had the massive crash at Tour of Tassie, which was a very challenging day, that's for sure. Sydney Harbour GP, we had its own weather problems on that last stage. Grafton Inverell was about the smoothest race of the season this year and went off without a hitch. And then obviously the Q Tour, we had some epic conditions there with the rain and some really bad crashes in the women, which took the medical services out as well. So, yeah, very challenging year.
For you and your team, what are you proudest of what you delivered this year?
Oh, look, I think, like I said, to see the teams grow was really satisfying. Two of those teams in Team Brennan and Meridian Bike Bug have become UCI Continental teams. So they're now, providing opportunities for young riders in Europe, not just in Australia domestically. So to see that grow was a huge thing. Bringing Hertz on board and a lot of our new partners like Reserve Wheels, Veneziano Coffee, ARA Group, which has been a huge supporter of cycling, but to see them backing us as well shows that we're on the right track. It validates, what we're doing. So we're hugely proud of that. And then, like I touched on before, seeing some of these young riders mixing it with the elites and seeing the depth of talent in Australia grow, all those things together make me pretty proud of season 2.
Matt, let's talk about season 3. I know you haven't even probably washed your clothes from this season yet, but how's it looking for next year? You've obviously got the partnership in Hertz, and a lot of people are already talking, we have to have this for next year, and it just keeps, I guess, building, and that foundation is starting to look really strong.
Yeah, it is. Look, everything's tracking in the right direction. It's just a question of money and time, and we need both of those things. So a crowdsource funding program that we launched actually went live this week. So that's a really great way for people to invest in the league if they like what we're doing, if they're backing us, they want to see a season 3. We do need funding in order to do it. So that's open now to the public, and you can find a link via our website to get on and check that out. Because I want to have a season 3. Everyone wants to see a season 3 and see, everything's gone up about 30 to 40% in terms of our sponsorship revenue, interest in teams, eyeballs on this. So it's growing, but it just takes time.
Have you got a timeline on the steps from what next, bringing more sponsors on board and making a decision on announcements around season 3?
The crowdsource funding campaign finishes on April 2nd. We've already generated a lot of interest through that, and we'll be following up a lot of those contacts post-raise. So, look, how long's a piece of string? Hopefully we can make an announcement pretty quickly. But again, we've got to follow up all these leads and make sure we tie down our funding. And we know that the teams want to know as soon as possible. Our sponsors want to know as soon as possible. We want to plan, well in advance to get the best out of the season. We'd love to bring in a 7th round, and we are in initial talks with potential events and locations for that 7th round. So all very positive things, but we're not there yet. We've got to get there.
Yeah, congratulations on what you've achieved with season 2. All the best with the preparations for season 3. I can speak on behalf of pretty much everybody in the cycling community. We want to see a season 3 and have it continue to grow.
Thanks, Keenan. Thanks, Tills. Your support, like everything, is amazing, and really appreciate your work over the season. And thanks to all the people that are watching at home and following and spreading the word. Because if people don't watch, and then we're dead in the water. So thanks.
Congratulations, Willow. Get some sleep in April.
Thank you. See you guys. Bye.
Matilda, you and I have had the luxury of being in the same studio for each round of the Hertz ProVelo Super League in Burwood, but our man on the ground has been Angus Calder. Let's bring him in now to have a chat and deliver his PSL pulse.
G'day, Keno. G'day, Tills. Gosh, it's pretty wild to be here at the end. I saw Matt Wilson there mentioning how hard the 5 weeks in a row is. The traveling schedule is pretty brutal, I've got to say. But yeah, amazing seasons racing.
So you get a different perspective from us because
Mm.
we're watching it via a TV screen, but you're there and talking to the athletes and you're seeing the mood around the cars, etc. What were some of the standout performances that you saw that maybe didn't quite get the coverage they deserved?
Yeah, look, I think Team Brennan, they get a lot of publicity and very well deserved. They standout performers. Case Body Wrapper always at the front of the race as well. And in the men's race, Red Cat, Butterfield's all fantastic. But one team I really want to call out, and it's been touched on earlier, is the Cobra 9 Lisa Veya's team. Seeing them, especially at the Tour of Tassie, that Poatina stage for the men. I spoke to Ollie Sims before and had a good chat. They have such a good atmosphere within that team. The riders all get along really well. The team staff and management are fantastic. Nathan White's been doing a terrific job with that squad over all of his years involved. And you could sense from Ollie pre that Poatina stage how much it meant to him. It's his home round. He's from Tassie. He's a climber. He wanted to do really well. And I don't think it quite went how he wanted to. He didn't end up winning the stage. He was close, but, he wasn't quite there. And I think that really just lit the fire within him. And then coming around, next few rounds, coming into the Q Tour, not his personal home round, but his team's home round. They're based in Brisbane. You could really feel a change in approach there. And it was like there was this extra morale and motivation from them. And he flew up that final climb. He was really storming. And speaking to Ollie Bleddyn after the stage, he was talking about how he maybe could have followed the initial attack, but he said, I don't think I would have been able to stay there with him. He was just flying. So I think that final stage from Ollie Sims, that really stands out to me as one of the best performances, I think, of the season.
He took that Tasmanian result personally, Angus, and went out and took the KOM the week after up Poatina just to stick it up to everyone. But yeah, I really love this year that we didn't quite have the narrative around like just two riders going for the under 23, obviously contract with Jayco at the time, but that we had so many individual stories that was sort of surfacing and so many surprise results as well. One thing sort of going off what Matt asked as well, when you're around the teams, do you think you can tell a team that's really gelling just by how they're having their meeting and how they're interacting with one another? They're on for a good one. And secondly, could you see tension between teams and riders?
Yeah, I don't know if I'll comment too much on the tension component. I'm not sure if I actually saw that much because I think, we have all of these conversations. You drive to and from all the stages, pre each of the interviews that you might see on the TV that we do. I get to chat to all the riders. I'll walk over and say hello, and they have a few minutes before we put them up in front of the microphone, and you can pick up a lot in those little moments. But I think I never really noticed any tension. I think my main takeaway, and I said this to a few of the people I was sitting in the cars with over the weeks, is how humble everybody is. I know that seems kind of boring, but everyone is so supportive of not only their own teams, they're very respectful of their competitors, the level that everybody's at. And I think back to, years past, and you had some sort of, you'd always have one or two villains, who'd be there in the bunch, who everyone was kind of just, a little bit against, and they're kind of like the Dennis Rodmans of the field, and, they kind of cause a bit of friction, but they're very good, so you can't get rid of them. Everyone seems friendly, which is nice, but at the same time, I sometimes want a bit of friction just so you can have some of that extra interest. But I think, honestly, I would say the Butterfields team, particularly the women's squad, they had a great dynamic this year. And seeing them come into the final round, Sophie Edwards, she'd missed a couple of rounds. She had a fair bit of work to do if she was going to challenge for the title. So that in itself was a big decision. And then to see how that team rallied around her attitude as well. A lot of them were talking about how great she is just personally as a leader. And you can see that with how she talks to the rest of the riders and how they all respond to her instructions and her leadership. So yeah, I was really impressed with them. Sophie Edwards, she's clearly got a great leadership streak within her. She's very smart. Like all of that translates, and I think the team really rallied around them. So Butterfields, they had a great vibe. But I mentioned Cobra 9, they have an amazing energy. Anytime I'd go and talk to them, they would wind me up and try and get me to say something really, really heinous on the microphone, which I would try not to do. But they just all have fun. And I think for me personally, I get very sad leaving on the final round. Same thing happened last year because they're just such fun weekends away. Everyone's having a great time.
When you do look, let's get away from the sadness. When you do look back on 2026, what are the moments that will put a smile on your face that may not have been a win, but some of the moments that you were part of?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I really enjoy if someone's managed to step up in a big way, or you get to talk to somebody after what may prove to be a pretty pivotal moment within their career. And I remember talking to Sophia Sammons after the tour of Tassie. And I think I said it in our podcast, I said it on the microphone all that week. I think that was a really pivotal moment for her career. And I look back very fondly on the moments where I get to interview people after a stage. You know, you might wrap up and you have a couple of minutes just chatting afterwards, and you get sort of, they're not dishonest on the mic when we do those interviews, but you just get a little bit extra when they have the removal of the pressure of the camera. And I think those moments are really nice because you can see, I'm like an old man when I go to these. I'm 29, which doesn't feel that old, but compared to all of the 18-year-olds and 20-year-olds around you, you feel like you're in a different phase of your life. And you can see that these moments are things that will change these riders' lives. And that is really cool to be a part of.
Angus, one thing that's so different, I think, with the Hertz ProVelo Super League is the media side. It's not something that we had when we were growing up and racing. People weren't putting a mic in front of our faces before or after our races. And then also neither was it ever streamed as much as it is on live and free on demand on SBS. Like, it's incredible. Do you see, I really see that as another key component, because just the media training that you're giving these riders and preparing them for everything that's to come in if they are to go professional off the bike. And do you feel that when you speak to riders, and you can see a few that maybe get better as the season goes on in answering your questions?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there are a few interviews that I've done, and I won't name names, but a few interviews you do and you don't really get too much out of a rider. And for me, at least, I think, okay, maybe I can answer questions differently. But for the last couple of rounds, I sort of changed my approach to how I would, engage with them before we start the interview. I might give them a few tips and things like that. And I remember talking to Alec Fransky before the stage at the Q Tour, who's quite introverted. He's very quiet. And I just gave him a few tips beforehand. We can do it this way. If you can answer like this, that would be really nice. We're trying to raise your profile, all that kind of thing. And I think he gave some great answers in the end, which was nice to see. But for them, all of these things, it's all mental load. You still have to get in front of a camera. You still have to talk. They might look at me while we're talking, but they can, like, the camera's right in front of them. They can feel it. And it adds another dimension. And it's stressful for a lot of them. A lot of cyclists are introverted and they don't really like being in that situation. But it's exactly like you say, if they want to be a pro cyclist, they're going to have to talk in front of the camera pretty regularly. And if they're doing it for the first time with all of the additional pressure for a lot of them of moving to Europe, they're going to their first big races, they want to impress their team, all these sorts of things. And then you add in all these other stresses. If we can start to get them prepared for that here, I think it will set them up incredibly well when they step away.
It really is the road to the World Tour and all those elements. It's the stuff off the bike as well as the stuff on the bike, working in a team, pressure as a leader for Ollie Bleddyn and Sophia Sammons and the others that were leading their various teams. Angus, congratulations on what you've done throughout this year's ProVelo Super League. It's been fantastic for us having you on the ground, doing the venue announcing as well. Glad you've enjoyed it, and hopefully we can all be part of season 3 in 2027.
Yeah, looking forward to it already, and hopefully catch you there. Thanks for everything that you do as well. The coverage has been amazing. I'm blown away by how much both of you managed to know about all of the riders at this level. It's just incredible, and doing a great job of telling the story.
Thanks, Angus. Angus bringing us our PSL Pulse every week here on the Road to the World Tour podcast, and he pumped our tyres up there a little bit. We got a lot of text messages throughout the races, didn't we, Tills, from Angus to let us know exactly what was happening on the stuff that we couldn't see.
Yeah, we're not going to release all our secrets, but yeah, I think we're thrilled to have Angus there, particularly, as you say, on the ground, really feeling it to just to be able to connect so well with the riders. And you can see that the riders, they feel comfortable with Angus, Matt, which is that is a big part of trying to draw out the energy and the personalities from riders. So yeah, he does a great job.
And the PSL, it's a big launching pad for careers and for the rest of the season. So we're at the back end of March. The big European campaigns are coming now for these young Australians going overseas. We've got a lot of riders beyond the winners that we can watch for the next 6 or 9 months in Europe.
Yeah, essentially how it works is no one really ever gets signed off an Australian performance in these teams. It's always you get on everyone's radar, but it's always just show me one little bit, like that. They just want that tiny bit of evidence of what you can do in Europe. I think it showed last year the number of riders that was signed to development teams last year has already given the Hertz ProVelo Super League a great reputation, that it is a breeding ground for World Tour riders. But I think so many of those DSs, Matt, they are now going to be watching. Trying to get your name in front of them is really hard, and that's what the ProVelo does really well at. But all of them will be saying, just show me one little bit. So this is a huge moment for so many of them who are going overseas. Even winning Oceanas that many of them are also doing, does not guarantee any type of signing with a World Tour team. So I'm really excited to see how they do and the opportunities that they can take.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching them really closely. That brings us to a close for Hertz ProVelo Super League 2026. I've loved being able to call it with you each week, Tills.
Oh, thanks so much, Matt. It's such a privilege to be sitting next to the voice of cycling here in Australia. And I think everyone always says, like, to have yourself there leading this, it just elevates it and gives it so much more respect. And I myself learn so much each season. So I hope to be able to have that opportunity again for season 2. And yeah, congratulations to everyone involved, particularly the riders, for putting on such a great show.
Yeah, and to further that, all the teams, all the volunteers, the people putting out the barricades, everybody in the production team, Dan Jones, back room as well, Mark Fallahay, Ian Gates and all of his team. Thanks for everybody for watching or listening, and we look forward to picking up again in 2027. See you later.